Okay, I've done a lot of lighting upgrades to that motorcycle and my wife's motorcycle. I'll show you what I've done just in case my regular subscribers probably know, but somebody else who may stumble across this video may not. This is my wife's bike. I've upgraded her headlights and spotlights. Same with mine. These are older bikes, and they came with the old incandescent type of bulbs, not the halogen. That's a 05. This is an 04 Road King Classic, Heritage Softail Classic. And on the back, I've added a LED brake light that flashes when you hit the brakes on both of ours. And I intended to buy LEDs to go, these are also the old incandescent lights, and they're not very bright. So I bought I was going to put LEDs in there, but they're so expensive, it'll be a while before I can afford them. Right now we got dozens of things we're trying to pay on, and then I've got my eyes are getting the cataracts removed, and it cost me $125 for the last visit, and when I get my right eye done, it's going to cost me $200. And then when I go get my left eye done, it'll be $125 again. And then where they do the surgery, we'll want another $200 up front. So I got a lot of money to come up with. And anyway, let me show you what it looks like with the old incandescent bulbs. I'm gonna shut this overhead light off. And I'll show you how dim they are. They're not terribly dim, but they're not really bright. So here we are. This is with the old incandescent light bulbs in the turn signal brake lights on either side. What I'm going to do now is replace the incandescent bulbs with the Silver Star 1156. Very bright. These are the modern, the brightest bulbs you can get. So we'll see how much difference it makes. Let me show you. Okay, I forgot to show you the front of the bike too. Well, this is my wife's bike. So the front of these bikes, these lights run, they stay on. And there's those lights. So I'm going to replace all these with those really bright incandescent lights. So let's have a look at that. So while I'm telling you this light here, I've already replaced with the super bright Sylvania lights. And believe me, I didn't do a before and after on this, but these are way brighter. The front fender and the rear fender have these tiny little bulbs in there. Anyway, fun fact. The day before yesterday, I was doing some filming in my other shop, and I went to mount my camera on my tripod. Somehow, my phone dialed 911. And I had never heard this sound before, and it was a like that, like a weather warning. And so I looked at the phone and realized it was dialing 911. So I took the phone off the tripod and I hung up real quick. And about a half a second later, I get a phone call from the 911 people. Here's the new bulb. And asking me if everything's okay, if I intended to dial him. I said, no, I'm sorry. I don't know how it happened, but I put my phone on my tripod, and next thing you know, I was dialing 911. But that's how, let's just say a woman was getting a beating from her husband, and she managed to dial 911, and he hung up. So, that's kind of a good thing in an emergency that they do call you back. Come on. I can't see it. So, that was kind of funny. that has got some grease on it. I will be so glad when I get my eyes fixed. Trying to look around these cataracts is really aggravating. All right, I'm gonna do the front and then do the back on my bike and then move it back just a little bit so I can do the fronts on both of these bikes, and then we'll do a comparison. Well, I just discovered something important. These are dual filament bulbs, not single filament. So they do stay on at a lower intensity. And so the back bulbs, which I have already been into and changed, are single filament bulbs. So I've changed out the back bulbs. So here we are. This is before and after. Let me give you a few seconds of each. I'll switch back and forth and you can see if they appear any brighter to you. I am right behind it at eye level, right here. So, I won't know this until I look at it myself, the difference. So that's good to know. So now that makes me really want to work harder at getting the LEDs for the front turn signals, because what it is they run constantly. And these LEDs that you replace these with, they come with an outer ring of very bright white light, and then when you put your turn signal on, an inner ring of orange light flashes, you know, for your turn signals. So they will be well worth getting because they give you a lot more visibility. Not you, for other people to see you. Because I tell you what, and I've been guilty of it myself, we do have a lot of people pull out in front of us because some of them, they just don't see you. And some of them don't care. They're in a hurry and they're going to pull out whether you're a car or a motorcycle. They don't care. But I myself have accidentally pulled out in front of a motorcycle. One time, the most recent time I ever did it was when I was living back in Sylvania. I was pulling out of the post office parking lot. And I looked to my left. I didn't see any cars, and I pulled out. And when I looked back, I had pulled out in front of a motorcycle. I did not see the motorcycle. He had headlights like I've got, you know, bright. There's simply no reason for me to have not seen him except that my brain was not used to looking for motorcycles. And I think that's what happens to us often, is that people, when they look to see if they can pull out, their brain doesn't register motorcycles, it registers cars. It's just, you know, part of human nature and the way the brain works. So you really got to be on the lookout for people who accidentally pull out in front of you, and you got to be prepared to, you know, avoid, take evasive measures. And then you have those that pull out in front, whether you're on a motorcycle or a bulldozer or a dump truck. They just, you know, are special, and logic and rules and law doesn't apply to them. And unfortunately, as days go by, there are more and more of those types. So there we go. I'm glad. So now I have 4 extra light bulbs. And these, I don't know what the number is on the front. I should pull them out and see. But yeah, I'm not going to bother with replacing the front. So I'm going to just go ahead and buy the LEDs for the front of hers and the front of mine. And that will give us half of what we need. And then down the road, I'll replace the backs. All right, that's it for now. I'm fixing to head to the knife shop. One last thing. Those little tiny light bulbs that are replaced on the front and back, them little lights there, the lights that are in there are 193s, and the lights I replaced them with are 194s, and the reason is 193s are like 1/23 of a watt, and 194s are it's 1/3 of a watt. So these are slightly, the 194s are slightly brighter. These are ones I took out. I mean, they're a match. They fit in the socket and everything. So they're slightly brighter without having to go to LEDs. Alrighty, that's it. Now let's go to the knife shop.